All right, so you want to start running. Maybe your friends have started running. Maybe you've seen people on social media always running. Well, here are 6 tips to help you for whatever reason that you want to pick up this new hobby. But first, let's go on a run and I'll teach you guys on the way.
All right, so tip number one, if you want to start running, and this will help make starting easier, is to run slow. 80% of your weekly runs should be done at your zone 2 pace. If you don't know what your zone 2 pace is, copy this. Take 180, subtract your heart rate from that number. So if you're 20 years old, 180 minus 20, and you get 160. That 160 or whatever number that you get for your heart, for your age, is the maximum aerobic heart rate that you should reach. Do not go over this heart rate, or at least try to not go over this heart rate during your easy zone 2 runs. The other thing that's super important is to make sure that you're not increasing your mileage per week too fast or too high. For example, a safe bet is to try to not increase your mileage by more than 5 to 10% per week. So, if you're running 50 miles this week, next week you really shouldn't do more than 5% more than that, or 10% more than that, which is about 55 miles in a week. Same thing goes with your long runs. Try not to add more than 10% to your long runs each week. What I've been doing for this marathon prep is only adding 1 mile per week, which has been super slow, but it has been super rewarding.
All right, tip number 2 is to invest in some good running shoes. Now, this step is extremely important. I cannot stress it enough, especially as someone who's going to be spending so much time on their feet running. You want something that'll help you out instead of hurt you. When I first started running, I ran, I think, an Adidas Ultra Boost. Completely fine shoe, but there are just so many better things out there. So, I am currently running in the Asics Nova Blast 3. There is a Nova Blast 4, but I just love this model so much. Once I burn through that, I'll probably try the 4. But anyway, that's besides the point. 3 things to look for when getting a running shoe. 1, that it's comfortable. This is so important. Like, it's so important. Go to a running store, try out a bunch of shoes, have them look at the way you run, look at your gait, and then they can recommend you a running shoe, especially if you need something with more stability, wider, blah, blah, blah. There's so many factors that go into it. Second thing, you have to make sure that you find the right size. If it's even half a size too big or too small, that could potentially cause you blisters, which won't keep you running. We want to keep you running as long as possible, injury-free. That's the whole goal of this. Step number 3 is you want to make sure that it matches what you want to do with it. Now, whatever running shoe you get, you can do whatever you want. It's your shoe. You are allowed to run in it however you want and whatever way you want. But there are specific shoes for different things. Now, this Nova Blast 3, this is an everyday trainer. Perfect example of an everyday trainer. It has some nice stack height, so it's pretty comfortable, it's pretty soft, but it also has some responsiveness. So if you really want, you can pick up the pace a little in this, but it's not as forgiving when it comes to picking up the pace. It's definitely a lot better for those slower miles, those easy days. And if you want something for like a race or for speed workouts, you can start to build a low rotation. But for now, I think the best thing you can do is get yourself a daily trainer. That can be Nova Blast 3, maybe an older Saucony Triumph, New Balance 1080. There's so many shoes. If you have any specific questions, ask them in the comments. I'll literally answer anything. I've kind of developed a bad habit of buying running shoes. But yeah, that's tip number 2.
Tip number 3 is to make sure you always warm up and cool down. Now, by cool down, I don't mean go take a seat right away. Keep your body moving. Try to get some static stretches in. Really make sure you're not too tight. Kind of stretch those muscles This will help you wake up the next day feeling great. You won't be anywhere near as sore, and your body will thank you for it. You'll be ready to run the next day. Now you might be like, all right, I have my cool down. What do I do for a warm up? Go on YouTube, look up simple running warm up or 5-minute running warm up. Whatever you look up, you'll find so many videos. There's already so many things out there. The number one thing I do recommend is whatever you do not static stretch. This can actually be worse for your muscles and not something that you want to do in the long run, especially when you're warming up. Last tip for warming up is to try and use your first mile as your warm-up mile. What I'll always do is my first mile will always be my slowest mile. My last mile will also always be one of the slower miles. I kind of like to go slow, really. It's like kind of like active recovery for the cool down and a dynamic warm-up for the warm-up. It just helps your body, lubricates all your joints, and you'll feel ready to go into your next run or into the run that you're doing that day. All right, tip number 4 is to run with friends. As you can see, I am running all alone. That is okay. I enjoy running alone. But I know when I first started, it was a lot harder to motivate myself to go and make myself run every single day. So if you don't have friends who like to run, that's okay. Go on Facebook, go online, try to find a run club near you, maybe a local event near you, a 5K, 1 mile, whatever it may be. There's always people running. There's so many more people running than you think. Now what I did and what I found was super helpful was to make sure that I started a challenge with one of my friends. Now this challenge, we were trying to see who can run 1 mile at least every day for the longest amount of time. This, especially during the beginning, really motivated me to make sure that I never stopped running and that no matter what, I got it done. Even on days where I was on vacation, I was still running every single day. Everyone thought I was crazy. All right, tip number 5 is to set a realistic goal for yourself. When I first started running, it was May 1st, just over 4 months ago now, and I decided to sign up for a half marathon that was on June 1st. So I only had 1 month to train. But do you know how motivated I was to try and accomplish that goal? I already paid for it. So that monetary loss was a huge motivating factor for me to want to keep running every single day. And it could help one of you guys. Even if it's just a 5K or maybe a 1 mile race, whatever it is, signing up for a race can be so helpful.
I realized as I was editing this, I forgot to include the 6th tip. Now, the 6th tip is to be smart, listen to your body, and always have fun. Now, listen to your body. You have to know the difference between discomfort and pain. Discomfort is those long, hard miles where you're tired, you don't want to keep going, but you have to push through. Running should not be comfortable. You should be always pushing yourself, and I'm being so serious, it doesn't get easy. There won't ever be a time where you're going on a run and you're like, oh wow, this is so easy. It gets easier, but each run is never easy. It's always something that you're pushing yourself to do and trying to get better at. Now, the difference between discomfort and pain, you're running and you physically are hurt. You are physically hurt. You have to know the difference. If you can't tell the difference, it can take away so much from you. For example, if you're running and you have this bad knee pain, every step your knee is aching. This is pain. If you're running and your muscles are tired because you've been going for 10 miles, whatever the distance may be, that is just discomfort. You can push through that. You will be fine pushing through that. But you don't want to run when there's pain. You have to be able to listen to your body. If you wake up one day and you're just so sore, it might not be the best day to go for a long run that day. It might not be the best day to go for a track workout that day. What you want to do is cut the miles back, maybe run slower, or even take a rest day. That's totally okay. It is okay to take rest days and listen to your body. The last thing, a little bonus tip, have fun with it. Now, let's say you signed up for a marathon. You have a marathon in 3 months. It can be so easy to get caught up on that date and only look forward to that date. This can take away the whole enjoyment of running. And if you're just focused on that one day, you forget about the present. Try to focus on that run that you were doing right now. Focus on that day. Focus on that workout. If you are just focused on the destination, you completely forget about the journey, and then you're done with that race and you're like, oh, now what? Now what do I do? But if you focus on the process, on the journey, you think about every single day, you really start enjoying the process. You start seeing the progress that you're making. And then after that race, you're like, oh, now I just get to go back to normal training, or maybe sign up for another race. It's not like this, oh, just finished a race. Now what do I do with myself? You want to enjoy the process. You want to enjoy the journey. A 3-month prep for a marathon, that's so much longer than how long that marathon's going to take you. You are going to be running way longer than that one marathon. So having just that one race in mind just kind of takes away a lot of the fun. So just really enjoy the journey. Running is fun, I promise you guys. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it's super fun. Once you're done with a run, you will always feel rewarded. You will never, ever regret a run. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you have any other questions, let me know. Let me know what you guys want to see. I have so many tips. I want to help you guys be able to run, lift, whatever it is you want to do. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.